Hello, today I'm going to break down the Poppy Playtime chapter for gameplay trailer. The way this video is going to work is I'm going to show the clip like I am now, then talk about it. So it starts with yellow dough falling down from the sky and landing on the ground. Later in the trailer we see Doughy the dough man come down from the roof, so this is definitely him, and we can probably tell whenever Doughy is about to arrive because there's dough dripping from the roof. Another thing we can get from this about Doughy is that when Doughy needs to get into small spaces, he separates into a ton of tiny pieces and squeezes through the tight gap, then reassembles himself, and this is backed up by something that happens later in the trailer. We also hear an alarm going off, so the doctor probably set it off so everyone down below is aware we're here. We can hear a kid's theme tune, and we know Pianosaurus will be in this chapter based off of this short, so this could be him. And finally we see a prison with what looks like bodies and a TV. From everything we've seen, the doctor has access to everything digital in the building, but mainly TVs, so he was probably using this to watch the humans. I'll also get more in depth on what happened to the humans and why they're in a cage later.
Down here, it's not like anything you've seen above. It's hell. And Playtime wanted it to be.
Poppy then talks about how down below is hell and Playtime wanted it to be this way, so this is probably because they didn't want anyone coming down here, since this was where all the failed or useless experiments went and where all the unethical tests were done. They wouldn't want anyone who was unaware of the unethical experiments to know what happened down here, so if they do stumble down here by accident or they're just looking around, Playtime would release some of the monsters they were keeping in jail cells to go kill them, so it's basically impossible to escape and let the secrets out. I'll also get back to that jail cell thing later with the humans as well. We see the jail cells which have fell apart, probably due to the Hour of Joy and all the toys escaping the prison. We see Purple and Blue Hand as well as Orange later, so we can confirm that all three of those will be returning in this chapter. We see a room with a red haze, which is probably the sleeping gas. However, we lost our mask after the catnap jump scare, so we will probably need a new one if I'm correct.
Now what's this?
We hear Harley talking through the TVs, or maybe there's speakers near the TV so we can hear him, but either way he can speak to us. This is also in an area with walls you find at a kid's play place, so this might be where the children were taken to be tested on. They were probably put in this room, then the room might fill with the sleeping gas, then they would do the experiments on them. After Harley finishes speaking to us, the player presumably falls down, so maybe a nightmare critter or a machine or Yarnaby grabbed the player, or the floor opened up. However, it looks like we land on the floor instead of falling beneath it, so I assume it wasn't the floor.
They call him the Doctor. He works with the prototype.
We then hear who I assume is Doughy, and he sounds like he's giving us exposition about Harley. There is a room full of TVs, so it appears Harley has eyes everywhere, but we then see a cafeteria-looking place with a corpse, so this is probably where all the scientists doing experiments had to eat, and the corpse is probably someone killed during the Hour of Joy. Now this is where I come back to the prison with the dead bodies, so we see a ton of people dead down here, and like I also mentioned, the toys were locked in the jail cells and were only released when they had to kill someone who came down here. I think that when the Hour of Joy happened, the prototype turned the Doctor online and he had Harley Sawyer's spirit in him. This next part, I'm using what Game Theory said in their most recent Poppy video at the time of writing this script, so basically Harley was turned into the Doctor where he could take control of everything easily. However, I think the experiment would have gone wrong, which is why he sounds so confused and angry in the Chapter 4 trailer. The prototype will then activate him and tell him about the Hour of Joy, and we know they're working together because it's mentioned later, so Harley agrees to help and he releases all of the monsters locked up in the cells and they attack workers. Some of the toys just kill them and eat them, but some toys like Yarnaby are instructed to lock the people up in jail cells. This is Harley's way of getting revenge for how the workers locked up the toys, since he either lost his memories or they were twisted in the experiments, and thinks that Playtime are the villains who betrayed him. That's enough speculation though, so let's continue with the trailer.
Commands everything down here. taunting us.
We see the red hand comes back, and then we see a room be filled with red gas. However, we don't equip our gas mask, and maybe this means we either don't have one or they're hiding it as a surprise. We then seem to be locked up in a cage as Yarnaby passes by. Ince Harley commands everything like Dowie just said. Yarnaby probably takes orders directly from Harley, so I assume Yarnaby captures us as one point and locks us in a cage while Harley makes his way down to come to us himself. We probably escape the cage though, and I'll get back to this pretty soon since I think there's a shot that comes directly after.
Starving us.
There are no places you can hide. Not from me.
Dowie says that Harley hunts and starves people like him, which are probably people like Dog Day who are against the prototype. We see a place saying safe haven with art of what seems to be the smiling critters, and this is probably where the nightmare critters will be and where the children are put in while they wait to be tested on like I mentioned earlier. It looks like the smiling critters in the art, however, so it can either be both or the nightmare critters killed all the smiling critters, and this is why there's a room full of these toys. We see cave parkour return from chapter 3, however now it's time to return to the cage thing because in the next shot, the player is hiding from Yarnaby. I assume the player escaped the cell and Harley alerted Yarnaby, so now we're trying to escape but Yarnaby is trying to take us back. We see the sewers, which I've already theorized about before, but I'll do it again, so classic video game move. The path is blocked and we need to remove the blockage by going on a side quest. What is blocked in this instance is probably a pathway flooded by water, so we need to go down into the sewers and turn on this generator to divert the water. However, Alistair Alligator will probably be patrolling around here. Then we get a shot of the doctor and it zooms out to show a line of TV heads with bodies. However, they have white cloaks over them and these guys return later, so I'll talk about what their purpose is soon.
I've got something special and more.
I need to make this right.
Harley says he has something special planned, which is probably why he wants Yarnaby to capture us and not kill us. However, more interestingly, in the same shot, Kissy Missy is still alive and Poppy is on her shoulder hiding behind her head, as it looks like they're expecting someone to jump out and attack. We jump over electrified water and Poppy says she needs to make this right, and what she makes right, I have no clue, but Ollie doesn't speak all trailer, so maybe she did something stupid which led to something bad happening to Ollie and we need to save him. We then see one of the TV heads move their hand and then the player falls back just like they did earlier in the kid waiting room I was talking about. This time it could be the floor opening up because we see the player falls a bit before hitting the ground, but anyway. We then get another shot of the TV heads and it looks like they're going to be weeping angels, and I am not looking forward to this. We then see that the player has blood on the screen, so maybe the player just fell. However, when you fall, it usually also slows you down, but this time the player is moving at normal speeds. This might mean that the player is no longer one shot for everything other than falling, but we see the flare gun being used to deter the nightmare critters. However, there's also a huggy toy, so maybe just everything including smiling critters can attack. We see Ray B baby leap at us when the others don't, so maybe they can also leap at us as well now, and something that happens soon backs this point up.
Let's make a game of you.
Hurry! Let us in! He's outside!
We see that we're walking through a tight space with corpses all around, and at the same time we hear a gasp, so maybe the player has sound effects and or voice lines to react to certain things now, but that's a bit of a reach. Harley says he's going to make a game of us, which is really cryptic, so maybe he just means he's going to humiliate and torture us then kill us. We see a vault door or something like that open, which I have no clue what it could be. However, it seems like there is glass separating us, so it's probably something dangerous. Then we see Kissy banging on a door with scratches on her back, so she seems to have survived, but not without injuries, as Poppy screams let us in, so she's probably asking Ollie for help, and this might be him betraying us if he is evil. We also see something purple on her shoulder, which might just be injuries or items, but maybe this is a new character, and it could be Poe since purple. It may also be right after a chase scene, and if I wanted to go even further, Maybe Ollie takes too long to open the door, and this is where we get captured by Yarnaby like we saw earlier. We see Pianosaurus run at us, and it appears like we're on the floor and not in control, so it's either a cut scene or a jump scare. We hear Poppy scream he's outside, and this might actually back up a theory I have which I don't think I've shared. In the Yarnaby reveal trailer, we see monitors with Yarnaby, and we might be in an office. This could be a FNAF-style boss against Yarnaby where we have to hold off for as long as we can with Yarnaby and other monsters trying to break in, and Poppy gives us advice of what to do, like the fight against Catnap. We see pipes with cyan gas, so maybe we have more than just red gas now, and each gas does a different thing.
I failed you.
You lied to me!
Hiya there, pal. Follow me.
We see hanging bags, which looks to be like a hospital room, and this could be where the experiments were done on the children. Doey cries out that he failed us, and then this next scene has three things. First of all, a nightmare critter leaping at us, which seems to prove my leaping theory correct. We also see a battery holder, and this hallway seems really similar to the Chapter 3 boss, so maybe this is where the FNAF office section takes place, and we got to leave the office at some points. However, we also see a purple hand. However, this might just be the lighting, but it looks a lot darker, and it looks like it's charged like the green hand. We hear Poppy scream, "You lied to me," so maybe this might be the reveal where we see if Ollie is good or bad. Yarnaby is also running at us, so his mechanics are probably similar to Chica's from Security Breach, so as soon as they spot you, they don't stop running at you until you break line of sight, then they will go around looking for you once again. Then a door opens, and we see the light, so maybe this is the end of the chapter or a loading screen. Then it seems like my second guess about Doey was correct, as different pieces of him fall through the roof, and then he reassembles. However, he reaches his hand out, and it turns out he's actually friendly. It seems then the trailer ends with the title card looking like it's made out of dough, and it glitching with static like a TV screen. I will be playing the chapter as soon as I can, so if you like the channel, make sure to look out for that. Thanks for watching, bye bye.